Yo, what's up? Today we're gonna do some pan crop. So there's gonna be two parts to this video. First, it's gonna be my part showing my pan crop, and the next part's gonna be MACHU'S pan crop. So like 24 FPS, Kiss type of pan crop. And so I will put a timestamp on the screen right now. You can go to that if you want to learn off him. So here's what I got so far. That's what I got. And so for this video, we are gonna go over what I do for my pan crop, or at least for this part. Alright, so first what you want to do, grab an adjustment clip. I like to put it around like 5th, 6th layer, depending on how many effects I have under it. I like to put the pan crop above everything else, like above the shakes, the glows, dents, whatever I have under this, even the color grade. And so, alright, first thing is first, what you want to do is just go into adjustment clip. And now what you want to do is control spacebar or shift spacebar, then type in transform. And it's going to bring this. Make sure, before you go to adjustment clip, make sure you hover it over the kill. And what you want to do is just go back into fusion. So what you want to do, keyframe, or for this at least, I'm a keyframe size at 1 and go to the beginning and keyframe at 1.75. This, I like to have like a little intro like this where it zooms out so it doesn't feel as dry. And then for the graph, I like to do something like this, like a quick zoom out, nothing that bad. Then I also go to settings and I add motion blur. I do light motion blur. I put my quality on 4 and shutter angle at 280. Well, you could always mess with it. You could always put max, but I like to just leave it around here. All right, so now that we have that, go back to this keyframe where you get the kill, then add another transform, and then keyframe size at the mark. Go to the beginning, keyframe again, and go to the end and keyframe one more time. And now what you want to do is go to the middle mark and then type in size 1.25, and then at the end put 1.5. What we're gonna do here, it's a little like zoom in dent is what I'm trying to go for. Once you have that, you could mess with your graph and try to make something like this. Like it zooms in, like it starts slow, then it zooms in fast. Let me start it from the beginning. Alright, something like that. So what I want to do is focus the camera angle on the knife. Or how to do it is, first you could just pivot it. You have to use pivot. You have to pivot on the gun. Make sure this little X is on the gun or the knife, whatever you want it to like focus. You could do that, which will, it'll look like that. It looks pretty good. Or let me reset this. Or you can keyframe the pivot at the kill and then go to the last frame and just like put it wherever you want it to be. Then you could make a graph like this. So like it shows a kill and then it just zooms in there. Both are clean in my opinion, but I like to do the first option. But I will leave it like this just for the video. And once you're done with that, again, you can add your motion blur. And once you're done with that, we are gonna do a little transition, a zoom out transition. So what we're gonna do is put the size again, go to the kill and keyframe size at 1. Go to the last frame. And since we're doing 0.5 or 0.1 or the 1.5, sorry, for the value when we zoom in, type in 0.667 for a zoom out, and then just copy and paste the same pivot from the other transform into this one, and it will do a little zoom out. And to make the look better, what you want to do is open your spline and do a graph like this. So like a little zoom out after getting the kill. So kill, so like a little zoom in, kill, zoom out, and it goes to the next clip. And for zoom out, like fast zoom outs like that as transitions, I like to put the quality all the way to max and shutter angle all the way to max. So it looks a bit better. Now this is what we have so far. So kill, zoom out. Alright, now for the next clip, same thing, an adjustment clip. And this, we're gonna put this over until we get to the Reina kill or Reina clip. So all of this is gonna be used. this could be like very bouncy, like of a Pancrop. So we're gonna do zoom out, zoom into the kill. So like basically the same thing as before. Then zoom out again. Then zoom in into the hand. Then zoom out, and then like fast zoom in. You'll see at the end. So first, make sure you're over the kill again. Put a fusion. Add a transform. Keyframe size at 1 where you're at, and then go to the first frame of the clip, so 0, and then type in 1.75. And sorry, I forgot to say this, but also go to the other adjustment clip. What you can do is just copy the last transform that you added, and then just copy and paste the pivots that you had, so we can get like a clean transition out of it. So open your spline, and then for graph, we are doing something like this. So I will go back and I'll show you the transition. So makes it look pretty good, not gonna lie. So now let's go back into fusion. Add a transform, make sure it's on this kill again, and then transform 1.5 or 1.25. Let's do 1.25. We're gonna do another zoom in. So, and then yeah, first frame 1, and go to the find where your clip cuts that one frame. You can put 1.5. Then for spline, same graph as before. So what you want to do, something like this. Little quick zoom in, and then make sure you're over the kill again one more time. Keyframe the size at 1 in the area. Go to next clip, so this keyframe right here, and then type in 0.825, and then find the next clip where it cuts, so like right here for me. And what you want to do is put 0.667. So it's a little zoom out right here. I'll show you. Let's zoom out. Then for spline, we're gonna do a graph like the others, like this. To zoom out so you can see the hands. Then yeah, of course, always add your motion blur. Then add your next transform, the clip after the kill. Keyframe your size, then go to the next clip, so right here, then keyframe your size at 1.25, and then go to the next clip, which is right here, keyframe your size at 1.5. Then for go to settings, motion blur, you could always have it on. And then for graph, what we are gonna do is same usual graph, pretty simple, so it makes it bouncy, a little flowy. And for this, what we're gonna do, we are gonna put the pivot over the hand so it could focus more on the hand. So here, look at that, zooms into the hand. Then once we have that, make sure you're in the middle keyframe, then add another transform, keyframe size at 1. We're gonna do another zoom out, and then go to the next keyframe on the transform before, go back to the next transform, so you could type in 0.825, and then go to the last one. For me, it's going to be on this kill, and then type 0.667. That's going to make it zoom out. Then you could go to the other transform before, and then copy and paste the pivot, X and Y. Make sure you always get both. Then open your spline, and we are going to do a graph like this. Zoom out. Perfect. Now next, we're going to put a transform. And this is going to be like a zoom in fast impact. So what we're going to do, this is going to be a little bit different. Go to the middle frame. Make sure you're on the middle frame right here. The middle keyframe of the past transform. Go to transform 6, which is the next one for me. And then keyframe size at 1. Then find the next clip. For me, it's going to be on the kill. And this is a good way to add impact. So what you want to do is put the size at 1.5. Go to the last frame and just type in 1. Or open your spline, and we're gonna have something like this. Now what you want to do is highlight, press S, and you're gonna make a graph like this. Also hold down Control when doing these graphs, and it will separately move each line. So we are gonna do something like that, and it makes like a little like we just zoom in and then zoom out really fast, you know, like pretty simple impact that you could add. It'll look way better with effects. And once we have that, settings, just add your motion blur. And for the last one, go to the middle keyframe, add a transform, keyframe size at 1, and we're gonna do a quick zoom in. So we are gonna put the size at 1.75 at the end of the clip, so it transitions perfectly into the next clip. So 1.75, then we do a fast graph. So something like this could work. So we zoom out, then we zoom in quickly like that. Maybe we make it a bit stiffer, and we put up the motion blur. See it. Then we zoom in quickly. Yeah, perfect. And so this is what we have. It looks alright. There is one effect I'm gonna add to give it more impact. Alright, and for the last clip, we're gonna be focusing on a random dismiss. This one I like the best with Pancrop because we get to focus on the hand more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna this graph is gonna look a bit better in a way. So again, for me, I gotta go on the kill, which is frame 40 for me. So I keep frame size at 1 on frame 40. And then I go to the first frame because this is transition. Keyframe size at 1 again. Or go to the kill, type in 1.5, and then we're gonna zoom out. Let me find the next beat here. The next beat's right here. So we zoom out at that beat, and then transform for graph. We are gonna do something like this. So we zoom in because of the transition, and then we zoom out on impact, on kill. And then next, go to the middle keyframe. This is for dismiss. Transform, keyframe at 1. Let's go to the third keyframe on the first transform. For me, it's the first transform. Then we keyframe size at 1.5, and then we go to the end of the clip, and we keyframe 1.5. And so we're gonna do a graph similar to the others. Actually, like most likely like the same. And so kill, zoom in, and we're gonna pivot this over the hand. So like around here should be fine. And then after, go to the middle keyframe again because we're gonna do a little zoom out. Just why not? We go to size, keyframe size at 1. At the middle keyframe, go to the end, and we are gonna keyframe size at 0.667, and then pivot 0.8 for X, copy that, Y 0.421, gonna copy that. Now we're gonna do a fast zoom out to finish this off. So a graph like this. Not bad, not bad. Let me just add my motion blur. Alright, this is what we have for Pancrop. And I'm pretty sure it creates a loop since I zoom out. Kinda. And this is what we got. So we got like a zoom in impact that you could add, and then it switches to the knife, so it focuses on the knife. A zoom out transition, a zoom in kill again, zoom out for ability, zoom in ability, so it focuses on the hand when it throws. A zoom out so we can see the enemy. A zoom in, a quick zoom in to give it impact on for the kill. Then we zoom out, zoom in again as a transition to the next clip. Then we do a zoom out as impact for the kill. Then we zoom into the dismiss to focus over it. Let me zoom out as a transition. That's basically what we got for this trend, or this is basically what I got for this edit. The reason why we have an adjustment clip going all over a single clip, so that transforms overlap each other and give us like a little like it constantly like moving type feeling, you know, like a little like in out, like it doesn't stop and then zooms out. It's just constant like moving. That's why pan crop is really important to put in like your video. Keeps it flowy depending on how, like your pan crop, what you have. I will add effects. I will be right back, and I will show you with pan crop, without pan crop, with effects, so you guys could see the difference. And this is what I got for my video with effects. Looks good, I'm not gonna lie. And then here is without pan crop. Looks basic and plain compared to with pan crop. With pan crop, it gives it a lot more flow to the video, makes it more like watchable in my opinion. I like videos with good pan crop in it. Like that's like #1 important thing you should always add to your video. Pan crop, glows, like just simple effects like that. You don't really need to do transitions like how I do. If you are going to make a video, make sure you always have pan crop in your video. Make sure it focuses on the right things. Make sure you have the right graphs for it, which I just showed you guys how to do. I basically just made my own edit and added pan crop to it and showed you guys what it was, how I use my pan crop. And basically I just did that for all my videos. This is my pan crop. It will fix up your videos a lot, trust me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching my part, and Machu is next, so here's Machu.
What is up everybody, and welcome back to MACHU'S super epic tutorial. And today we're doing a pan crop tutorial in 24 FPS. You know it's me.
Machu, you there?
That guy, the Machu you there guy, you know me. So let's get straight into it. So last tutorial in Grizz's sheriff velocity tutorial, I taught you guys on the same clip how to do velocity for sheriff. And now this time we're going to be learning the pan crop of that, and that's the zooming in and zooming out I did on this edit. So let me show you it with the velocity and the pan crop. There you go, that's all the pan crop I added. So I'm going to be remaking that with you guys right now, so let's just get started. So now we just have this bare layer of just velocity. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab an adjustment clip. I have it favorited. You're going to want to trim it to the same size as your first velocity clip. So once you do that, you're going to go to Fusion, click Fusion, and right away you're going to grab this thing. You can click here, or you can shift space transform. I just like clicking right here, it's way easier. So it brings out a transform. This is the transform node. So you'll connect this to your node tree right here. And then what I like to do is, because this is the opening clip of a sheriff, and you can see in this clip it's kind of like a pop-up takeout. I think the best thing that you can do for this is a zoom out. And usually whenever you're editing, you're going to start an edit or a clip with a zoom out. It gives it impact and it helps it transition from clip to clip. So what value I usually use for my first pan crop, especially for this one, I'll usually use a 1.8. So select 1.8 on the size, keyframe it on the first frame, the very first frame, drag it all the way to the last frame. So usually people will end up going back to the basic value of 1, which I guess works, but if you really want your edit to flow, you'll want it to be like a value such as like 1.02. That's what I do. You can see it's not fully zoomed out again, and this will help later when you transition from clip to clip to make it feel like it's not repetitive. Because one thing about pan crop that you guys need to know is it gets very repetitive, and the way to avoid that is to use values that are different every time. If you keep using the same values over and over again, it'll look like you're just copy and pasting, and that's not good when editing. So once you keyframe both of those, I'm going to do 1.02 for the last frame here. Highlight it all, you can press Control A and then click S. So this type of velocity is relatively similar to other graphs that you'll see. So usually you want to do a fast slow, just like we do for velocity, a fast slow. What you'll do for this is you'll drag this one down, and you'll drag this one to the left. So make sure that this bottom line doesn't go below this little like line right here. It can't go below itself, or else it'll do a weird bounce. So you want it above. So this is what a normal Pancrop graph would look like, but we're going a little bit more advanced because I want you guys to be good, you know? So what you'll do is you'll grab this hand, you'll drag it to the right, maybe around here, then you'll grab this hand and drag it even further this way. So now it kind of creates this like curved L shape. So you can see that kind of works right there. It kind of creates a cool little zoom out effect. But one thing I like to do with this bottom point is I like to tilt it up the slightest bit. What that does is it kind of keeps it zooming out the whole time. So I think this looks pretty good for the first clip. It has enough impact. Maybe we'll bring this up a little bit so the beginning is a little bit slower. Something like that. Let's bring it back down. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, okay. So you'll see that that's good for this first one. And now the next clip is a click down. And click down is usually a place where you'll want it to zoom in because of the impact. Just the impact, it'll help the impact of the click on the sheriff. And if you think about it, the last Pancrop we did was a zoom out. So usually you'll go with the zoom in next. Not all the time though. We do break that rule a lot. So what we'll do is just add a transform. Go back to the same value you ended your last Pancrop with. So that's going to be 1.02. And then I'm going to bring it to like, I don't want it to be too zoomed in so the gun doesn't like, so we're not like super close. So maybe something like 1.25. Something like that. Okay, so now you're going to zoom to fit your spline. This time, you're going to do the same thing as last time, but opposite. Because it's a zoom in this time. So the graph is going to be going up instead of down. So what you'll do is bring this point up here, and then bring this point to the left. Something like here. And kind of like bring this point maybe around here. This is like a general graph that you'll see a lot for Pancrop. So instead of it being straight like this, you see this line is straight on this line right here, this little graph line. You can bring it down a little bit and that'll help it flow. So now you can see that works, right? But I think it's too fast. I think we don't need it to be that fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down and bring this in. So it goes like that. I also think that we zoom in too much. So I'm going to go to 1.2 maybe. So now what I can do with that is adjust the graph to make it flow just as well. So like that. Yeah, that looks good. I think that looks good. So now you can watch that. It's like a zoom out, zoom in on the click. Zoom out, zoom in, click. And then you'll go to the kill next. For my clip, that is. So for a kill, Pancrop, on mainly any gun, this varies depending. Maybe if you're using an opt, you'll do different values. But right now we're focusing on the sheriff right here. So for kills, you'll want to use the range of 1.8 to 2 to 2.2 for the size. 90% of the time when you're getting a kill, you want it to be a zoom out. It's way more impactful. It creates a stronger effect for your edit. So we already used 1.8, so I'm going to vary it and pin in just 2. So now that zooms in a lot. I know this seems like a lot right now, but you'll see what we do with that. So 2, and then I'm going to go to the last frame. And then usually you don't want to go back to 1. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to like maybe 1.01. It's kind of like cheating the system. It's barely different. You can kind of see it's slightly zoomed out like that. But so we're going to use those values now. Highlight our spline here. Do the same graph we did as the first one. Basically, we're going to adjust it a little bit later. So you see I tilt this bottom one up. This one like this, kind of like this little L shape you see here. So that works good, I think. But I think the beginning could use more impact. So I'm going to bring this up like this, and then bring this to the left a little bit. You see kind of what that does. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. It was too, yeah. And that looks good. It zooms out fast enough, but it also still shows the zoom, so you can still see what's going on. So if you watch that, it kind of like flows from clip to clip. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so now we're going to get to reload. So this is a reload out, and the last one was a zoom out. Add another adjustment clip. We might as well just cut them for all of them for now. Let's just make it easier on ourselves. So let's go to the first pop out of the reload. For this, we can use a zoom out again. I know we just used a zoom out, but the way that this clip works is it's kind of hard to explain, but you're allowed to use 2 zoom outs in a row. You can do a double zoom out, which is very common actually. Double zoom ins aren't as common, but they can still be used. It's not usually the greatest thing. So here for this one, it's a zoom out. So we're gonna put it like maybe 1.4. We don't want to go too much because it's not a kill, so it doesn't need as much impact. So this one we're gonna go to 1.05, 1.05, something like that. And these values can vary, of course, depending on your clip. You don't have to use these values at all. Just do whatever works for your edit, basically. So we're gonna do the same exact graph as we've been doing for a zoom out, something like this. See, look, you can't even see the zoom on this one, so that means we need to change something. Okay, so once again, we still can't see this. So I'm gonna adjust this, maybe go to 1.01 again. Okay. Still trying to work this out. See, it doesn't work first try every time, so this doesn't look really the greatest right now. So maybe we're gonna try 1.6, so 1.6 for the value. Yeah, okay, we're getting somewhere. It's all right. Could be better, but I don't want to spend too much time on this right now. I am a perfectionist usually, but this is for the tutorial, so I must live. Okay, so we're gonna go with, I think the last one ended on 1. Wait, did it? I mean, let me double check. We just want to make sure. Probably cut this out later. 1.01. So this ended on 1.01. We'll go here, and it's just pushed in right here, pushed in the mag. So it should be a zoom in because we're kind of following the movement of the clip. I think it'll look best if we do a zoom in. So maybe something to like 1.24. I don't want to do 1.25. I'm like stubborn. So 1.24. Graph it like we do a zoom in. This, maybe like this. Bring this down a little bit. We don't want it too stiff because we still want to see the zoom in. That's what I like. A lot of people like stiff Pancrop, but for me personally, I like to go with a more flowy style. So I'll usually make my graphs more linear. So you kind of, yeah, that kind of works. You can kind of see the zoom in. I'm going to lower it a little bit even more so we see it even more. So that's great on impacts. Yeah, see, look. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so now this one is going to be a zoom out because we just had a zoom in. We don't want to do another zoom in. So we zoomed into 1.2 last time. Let's think. Let's do 1.4 this time. Okay, so a little pointer. So you're probably wondering, oh, Machu, this one ended on 1.24. Why don't we start the next one also at 1.24 so it looks like it's flowing? And my answer to that is if you have a bigger value on the next one, it'll create kind of like this like transition impact. I'll kind of explain it once I finish this graph right here. So let's go to like 1.015, maybe. Highlight that all, graph it up, zoom out, something like this, probably. I think that looks good. Yeah, that'll look good. So now you can see it kind of from here to here. It's kind of like, it kind of transitions it. And you can't really even tell anyways. It also just gives it more impact. Going bigger values means bigger impact. So that's what we have right now. So this one. So this is the last kill. It's a very slow kill, you notice. There's a lot of time to show this sheriff shot. So we don't want it just to be just a zoom out, right? Or else that'll be very boring. So what I end up doing, not everybody does this, but it's a little thing I like to do. So I'm gonna start my value at 1.85 because it's a kill. I'm gonna go to the end, go down to 1. Trust me, you'll want to do 1 on this one. Graph it like normal, but maybe make it a little bit stiffer. The reason we want this stiffer is so the zooming out ends faster. You'll see why in a second. So maybe make this a little bit stiffer like that. So we still have that impact. You can bring it even more stiff, I think. So now if you're to watch this, it works. Maybe you'll do like a little composite, cool effects on this, some whatever text you want to do. Any effects you want to add, you could add that to this layer right here. But for now, because we're not going to add any effects, we're going to add another transform, so it's a double Pancrop. So maybe around like, let's eye it. We want it to zoom in like around here, around frame 36, around the middle-ish. So what you're going to do is start size on 1, and then you're going to go to the very last frame. Maybe you do 1.15. So unhighlight the first transform so we don't see that graph. Now we look at our new graph, highlight it, and do it like a zoom in. like a zoom in graph, but a little bit less stiff. We don't want it as stiff as before, or else the zoom in will be too fast and it'll be choppy. So we're gonna make it kind of like this. So that could work, but I think it's too fast. I think we need to move this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna highlight this and move this frame to the right. Maybe like something like that. Give or take maybe here. I think we did it too far that way. So maybe like 1 or 2 more frames to the left. Let's keep adjusting this graph. Editing takes a little bit just to make sure it looks good. I think that's still too stiff. And what I'm going to do about that is I'm going to make the second size a little bit bigger so it zooms in more, and we can make the graph more like that. Alright, I mean, for purposes of this tutorial, I think that looks good. So now you can watch this over and see the Pancrop. Right now it doesn't look super clean because we don't have any shakes or flashes on it. But once you add that and all of your effects together, this Pancrop will look amazing. Another part of Pancrop that I think Grizz and I will do on our next tutorial is shakes. Shakes is a major part of Pancrop. Shakes technically isn't considered Pancrop, but when you add a shake to a Pancrop, it makes it so much cleaner and so much smoother. So we'll get to that in the next tutorial, hopefully. I'll have to talk to Grizz about it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like with all the effects. Let me go and do a little speed run of that real quick. I'll get back to you guys later. Okay, and we're back. So I added some effects. Just Control Z until I got my old effects back. But yeah, so here it is with all the effects, and like I said, the shakes I added my transition shakes and my kill shakes, and my flashes and framers. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. Yeah, and you see this like little last zoom in. It's kind of the same as we did it in the tutorial, but I kind of changed it up a little bit just so it'd look a little bit cleaner. And yeah, there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe to Grizz and to me while you're at it. My YouTube will probably be in the description. I love you guys. Catch you later. Bye.